When we think about progress in reading and spelling, we often expect to see clear, steady improvement. Reading levels go up, fewer mistakes are made, and work becoming quicker and easier. But for dyslexic learners, progress often doesn't look like that. So in this video, I want to talk about what real progress actually looks like for dyslexic learners, and why it's so often missed or misunderstood. So if this kind of practical, supportive guidance is helpful, you can like the video or subscribe. And let's take a look at what progress really means. One of the main reasons progress is often misunderstood for dyslexic learners is because we tend to look only at the end result. Things like reading ages, spelling score, or how neat a piece of work looks. Those things do matter, but they don't tell the whole story. Dyslexia affects how easily the brain processes written language, so improvements often happen gradually and under the surface before they become visible. A learner may be working much more efficiently, using better strategies, or coping with tasks that used to feel overwhelming, even if the final outcome doesn't look dramatically different yet. When we only measure what we can easily see, we risk missing real progress that's already happening. Another important thing to understand is that progress for dyslexic learners is rarely a straight line. You might see a period where things seem to improve, followed by a plateau where progress looks slower, or even dip where things feel harder again. This doesn't mean learning has stopped or gone backwards. Often, it means the learner is consolidating new skills, transferring them into different situations, or coping with increased demands. Progress that looks uneven on the surface can still be meaningful and necessary for long-term development. For dyslexic learners, progress is often about building stability, not speed. Some of the earliest signs of progress for dyslexic learners aren't academic at all. They don't always show up in test results or written work. Early progress might look like less avoidance, more willingness to have a go, or reduced anxiety around reading and writing. A learner who used to shut down might now make attempts, even if they still find them difficult. These changes matter. Feeling safer and more confident around literacy is often the foundation that later academic progress is built on. Progress for dyslexic learners isn't always about reading faster or spelling more words correctly. Often, it's about how much effort a task takes. A learner might still read slowly, but with less strain than before. They might still make mistakes, but with more understanding of what went wrong and how to fix it. When reading and spelling require less effort, the brain has more space for understanding, ideas, and meaning. Literacy becomes less exhausting, is a significant and meaningful form of progress. Another important sign of progress is how a dyslexic learner responds when they're stuck. Early on, learners may freeze, guess, or avoid tasks altogether. As progress develops, you might start to see learners using strategies instead. They may slow down, talk through their thinking, refer back to rules, or ask for clarification. This shows growing independence. Even if accuracy is still developing, the ability to approach difficulty in a more controlled and thoughtful way is a clear sign that learning is moving forwards. Confidence and skill don't always develop at the same pace for dyslexic learners. Sometimes confidence improves before measurable skill does. Other times, skills improve but confidence takes longer to catch up. Both of these patterns are completely normal. This is why it's important not to assume that confidence means a difficulty has disappeared, or that ongoing struggle means no progress is being made. Dyslexic learners often need time for emotional safety and trust to grow alongside cognitive change. Comparing dyslexic learners to others is one of the quickest ways to misunderstand progress. Dyslexic learners often start from a very different place and may be working with much higher cognitive effort. So comparing them to peers can hide genuine progress and reinforce a sense of failure. The most meaningful comparisons are with the learner's own starting point. What feels easier than it used to? What can they now attempt independently? Progress is personal, not competitive. Instead of asking whether a dyslexic learner has caught up, it's more helpful to look at how literacy feels for them. Is reading becoming more manageable, even if it's still slow? Are they using strategies more independently when they get stuck? Is there less frustration, avoidance, or emotional distress around literacy tasks? These are all meaningful signs of progress. When we pay attention to these indicators, we get a much clearer picture of how a learner is really developing over time. For dyslexic learners, progress is really about access. Access to reading without panic, access to writing without overload, and access to learning without constant exhaustion. Progress may be slower, less tidy, and harder to measure, but that doesn't make it any less real. When literacy becomes more manageable, more predictable, and less emotionally draining, progress is happening, even if it doesn't show up straight away in scores or levels. When we understand what progress really looks like for dyslexic learners, we become less likely to rush, pressure, or misjudge. We get a better recognition of growth, even when it doesn't look neat or obvious. Progress for dyslexic learners is often about making literacy more accessible, more manageable, and less overwhelming. If you'd like more practical, supportive guidance around dyslexia and literacy, you can like the video or subscribe to the channel. You can also find resources and further information on my website. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and remember, difference does not mean deficit.